What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus, and I'm here with my lovely wife,
Shira.
And we would like to welcome you to another episode of the Black, Married, and Debt-Free podcast. We're trying a little bit of a different setup. It took us a while to get things.
Bear with us.
Yes. We're trying to limit the editing process, right? Because, I mean, for most creators, that's where you spend most of your time. We know this. But, yeah, Shira, I'm excited about today's episode. We have some really dope stuff to talk about. I don't know where to start, but I'm really excited about this because Shira came up with this dope plan earlier this week, and then we talked about it, and we had some conversations, and I came up with a dope plan, and so we're gonna present both plans to you, the listener, and we want you to guess which one we came up with, right? And guess which one we chose.
But a plan for what? You saying like this? You have a plan? A plan to do what?
A plan to retire.
Okay.
And we're gonna get into it, but before we do, we would like to first of all thank everyone who's been leaving us 5-star reviews. Shira, we hit 300 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Continue to flood us with the reviews. We really appreciate it. 5-star, preferably. But if you have, do us a huge favor and email us at BlackMarriedDebtFree@gmail.com and let us know, hey, I left a review. We have a special gift for you. And for those of you who have not yet, you can still get in on it. Just leave us a 5-star review on any podcast platform and then email us, and we'll be sending you our Get Out of Debt and Start Building Wealth Masterclass completely free. So Shira, let's dive right in. Shira. Do you want to start this, or how you want to do this?
Sure. Okay. So what had happened was, I had this odd dream about real estate, and I usually don't dream about real estate. And so I remember this dream. So in this dream, I had two friends they were girls, and we were friends, and we were essentially trying to get a fixer-upper. And so we got this great deal on this fixer-upper, and we were going to do a fix and flip. And so I woke up and I was like, man, I had this dream about real estate, and it just kind of caught me off guard because I usually don't dream like that. And then later on in the day, I was thinking, did
that dream mean something?
Yeah, did the dream mean something? And I'm not really a dreamer, because you know how some people be having dreams.
Yes.
They can interpret their dreams. They can tell you what the dream meant and whatever. Mm-hmm. And but it just kind of stuck with me, and I'm like, maybe it did mean something. Maybe there's more to it. And then I'm like, we have a plan to retire with real estate, but it's a very long plan. It's like a 10-year plan.
It's a 10-year plan. It's a nice plan though. But it's
yes,
10-year.
It looks very nice on a spreadsheet. And I'm like, am I missing something? Like, could we expedite this?
Right.
And I'm just thinking, and I was praying a little bit, because we talk to so many people on our podcast who are millionaires and multi-millionaires. And I'm like, I want that
What
too.
Are we missing? Wait, what is that thing we're missing?
And it's like, am I missing something? And so, so the day just kind of went on. And then that evening, I started listening to a YouTuber who, it was him and his wife. They're an older couple. They had retired. Okay. And they started talking about how they sold their home, and they were able to retire, and that helped them to retire sooner. And why would someone sell their home?
Right.
Where are you gonna live? You're gonna sell your home and then start renting. Does that make sense? And then it dawned on me, we could do that. And so I got stopped in my tracks, and then I started texting Marcus, and I said, how much equity do you think we have in the current home that we're living in? And so we looked up some recent estimations for what our home is worth, and it turned out that now we have close to $300,000 worth of equity. So in my mind, I said, oh my goodness, maybe we can retire if we sold the home that we're in. We use that equity, that $300,000, to buy properties cash, and then we actually moved into one of our rentals. So we have a rental across the U.S. that is completely paid off, and it was a nice house when we bought it. It was a complete flip, and I was like, oh my goodness, Marcus, what do you think about that? So basically, the plan was to sell our primary residence, take that equity, buy properties in cash.
To add to our already growing portfolio,
To add to our current portfolio, and then we would move into one of our paid off rentals.
Yeah.
And when we did the math for that, and I created a budget, that's just me, okay?
Gotta do that.
I created a budget with the income that we would have, and it was doable.
Yeah.
My biggest concern was health insurance. So I literally start putting in, requesting quotes for health insurance.
This was huge, Shara, because health insurance has always been one of your big big areas of concern.
Yes,
when it comes to
it's
retirement,
huge.
Right? We don't know anything because we do healthcare with our employer. So we have no real idea. But go ahead.
Right.
Shara.
So it was, healthcare. And so, so I had estimated healthcare at around $2,000 a month. But I ended up speaking to two different insurance folks. And I talked to someone in North Carolina who gave us a price quote based on our ages, our weight, health condition, and the zip code we were considering moving to. And the price quote that she gave me was less than $1,000 a month. So it was closer to around $750 to $850 per month. And so then all of a sudden that freed up like $1,000. And I had this good conversation with her. And then after I got off the phone with her, she called me back. And I didn't pick up the phone, I didn't know it was her, whatever. She left me a detailed message. And she said, basically, Mrs. Murray, you mentioned that you were in real estate. Well, if you have an LLC for your business, your health insurance is a tax write-off. And I said, oh my goodness, my biggest concern was health insurance, but we can put our properties in an LLC and it would literally be a tax write-off. I said, my jaw dropped.
Well, Shara, first of all,
that's a lot, right? Okay, but let's take a step back.
We're going to take that down piece by piece. So let's kind of give people the numbers, right? Because with the sale of our home, our current home, we would have a surplus of money.
Yes.
And then we're going to take that money and buy some income producing rental properties, right?
Yes.
So what was our budget? What would our budget be? And
yes.
then we would move into a house that we already own outright. So we wouldn't be paying for housing.
Yes.
What would our budget be? What would the budget
yes.
look like?
Okay.
What would we working with?
Okay. So that's a very good question. So our budget was around $4,700 a month, and which is around 47.
Oh, that's
48.
cool. I didn't know it was that much. Okay.
Yeah, it was almost $5,000 a month. Okay?
Okay.
And so what we would be able to purchase with the $300,000, what we were thinking of doing was we would buy 3 properties cash in that $70K range, and then we would take the remaining money to pay off an existing house that we already have. So it would be to acquire 3 new ones, and it would be to pay off one that we currently had. So that would bring the total number of properties that would be producing income to
Shoot, it'd be 8.
It'd be 7. It would be 7
because we'd be living in one.
We'd be living in one. So basically with 7 properties, with the majority of them paid off, and we be able to live rent free. We have health insurance at a affordable rate that would also be a tax deductible.
Yeah.
Like we were still able to save for like retirement. Like we could still contribute to a Roth and like, oh my goodness. Like even when I talk about it now, it still makes me kind of excited. Like, oh my goodness. Like I can like quit my job and I can like retire early.
Be done with it. And just for, so Shire had presented this to me, and Shire, if you guys who really know us know that like I'm down for whatever.
I'm hard to, yeah. I'm about to say I'm hard to live with because I always have these ideas.
Yeah, I tell Shire that like I'm convinced, and it could be very naive, but I'm convinced that we will be successful in any scenario. If that's here in California, if we just decided we packing up tonight and we moving to wherever we move, I'm like, we gonna make it happen, because my life is just, God has blessed us to do that. Like up until this point, so why would I think, man, we ain't gonna be able to, we gonna fail, you know?
Look at you with your crazy face.
Right. So I'm like, let's do it. I'm open, and so I'm excited about it. Now, to simplify it, I came back with Shire with this. I said, Shire, that's a great plan.
Well, hold on, we forgot a part.
Okay, what's the part?
Because we became concerned that, okay, if I retire, then that means I would stop contributing to the market.
Right.
You want to throw that in?
No. So save that for my story. I'm going to use that on my story.
Wait, you telling your story?
I'm not telling my story yet.
Okay, what you about to do?
So what I was going to say was, to simplify it, instead of us selling this home and buying 3, getting mortgages on 3 properties, I said it would be simpler to pay off every home we have currently and buy 1 additional.
Yeah.
And we would end up with the same monthly number, with less mortgages.
Yeah.
With no debt or minimal debt. You don't have debt on 1 home.
Yes.
So anyway, that was still in line with Shire's plan. Still, the monthly was still the same.
Yes.
It was lit.
And I will say, it was an intense.
Oh.
It was a very intense time.
Oh, you see us hanging out and we smiling right now. But boy, it was
very intense because,
I'm ready to do it. That's me, Shire. I'm like that. Don't present me with no good idea. See, and this could speak more to
it's an idea.
Yes.
He ready to just do it. Let's do it tomorrow.
This speaks to me to the psychology of men versus women. I'm like A or B. So it's like, are we going to do this or are we not going to do this? And Shire's like, well, could we just look at both? Or could we look at doing it and look at not doing it and just let's nourish it. Let's nurse it. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, let's just.
Okay, this is my analogy for that. And maybe this is something that men do. If I'm doing a puzzle, it's like pouring half the puzzle pieces on the table and trying to figure out things.
Okay.
I need all of the pieces on the table. And when I have all the pieces on the table, then I want to start to make the connections because I can fully see what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to see the full picture.
Right.
But
I can get that.
Some people, that's what it takes. Like, I got an idea, I need to act on it immediately. Right. But I think that when you're talking about moving, you're talking about, you have a family, you got kids, they got friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that I'm going to just rush out and do.
So, I mean, Shai, let's keep it 1,000 with the people. There was a little friction, right?
There's a little friction.
We had a little friction. Because I'm like, yo, this is all we're about, is retiring early, living our best life. And we have a plan that literally can do it now, like snap fingers, but there will be sacrifices.
But how cool would it sound too, right?
I mean, YouTube would be lit.
Oh yeah, Instagram.
Podcast would be lit.
How many Instagram likes am I gonna get? I'm retired before X amount of age. But
I mean, of course, there's always that. But let's talk about we laid out the pros. Let's lay out some of the cons. We would be moving from a 4-bedroom, 2-bath to a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. I'm a musician. We're sitting in my studio, music studio / podcasting / video studio right now. There's no this in that scenario.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, how are we gonna do what we do? Will we be cramped? Will be fish out of water? We don't know the area. The weather's different. It snows on occasion in Greensboro. I mean, Greensboro is dope though, but it's just like it's a whole different vibe. And me as a man, I'm doing some research on the side myself and saw that their crime rate is higher than the national average.
Just on that street. Was it
Yeah,
the hotel? It's
you
probably
know.
just where we, you know.
And so I'm like, you know,
But it's
I
still
gotta
a
protect my
relative.
family.
It's still a relatively safe.
Still relatively
place.
safe. And reviews I've seen, there's crime, but it's like the people who I saw hadn't experienced the crime, but they did acknowledge the rate. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you know what? That's something hard pill to swallow. But I was ready to do it. Shira, would you say you were ready to do it, or you were like, I'm not sure?
Well, okay. That's the thing, right? Because I was thinking, like, what am I missing? What is it that I'm not seeing? Like,
See, that's her.
How are these other people able to achieve, you know, retire in X amount of years? And I'm just like, I have this decade-long plan, and why not me?
Right.
And so here it is, you know, I get this dream and this idea, and then the concerns that I was starting to have around like health insurance, like, oh, that's a tax write-off. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. It just looked too good.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, I do have a good enough like budget, and my kids can still do extracurricular things. So I was going that deep. I'm like, okay, so where's my daughter gonna do this at? Where's my son gonna, you know? And then you were saying, well, Shira, it's becoming too real for you and it's too much, and so now you don't want to do it.
That's where I was at with it, y'all. So we was bumping heads a little bit. We not gonna lie, you know, hey, that's what part of marriage. So
this is too real for you. You're not ready for it. I'm like, well, it's my idea. I'm just trying to, you know.
So I'm just like, you ain't be.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not considering me. Like, here, this is our chance. You're not wanting to do
This
it.
is my
like,
dream.
Yeah, it's either. And for us, here's the where the rub lies. We have no idea how long this home is going to be. The equity is going to be ballooned in this home. The U.S. market is crazy. People have been hinting towards a crash for, you know, we're overdue. So it's just like, dang, I would hate for us to have this beautiful thing slip through our hands because now the market crashes. Now your house is worth what it's really worth. Because let's be honest, it's ballooned at this point. And it's going to go potentially higher in the spring. You know what I mean? So man, we got a window. We don't know how long this window is.
We think we have a window, right? We don't really know.
So it's either we jump through the window or we go back to our 10-year plan. And to be honest, y'all, 10 years doesn't sound like a long time to retire. I'm 30, going to be 37. Shira's going to be 36.
A woman never tells her age.
I'm sorry, y'all. We close in age. But it's just like 10 years don't really sound that far away. But man, my kid's going to be grown.
They're not going to be grown.
Like, man, you know what? They're going to be 17, 18.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, you know what? We could do this now. So we agreed to what would you think we did, Shai? Do you think we agreed to disagree, or where do you think we laid it?
Okay, another con, because I think we're talking a little bit about cons, is like kind of living on the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if your sole income is rental income, what if you have a vacancy? I mean, of course, we would have emergency savings, but it's just like, how many times would we have to tap into that, you know, over a period of 5 years, over a period of 10 years, you know? So, and then it's also, thank you.
Sorry.
It's also lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm retired, but I can't really go nowhere. I mean,
your travel game ain't gonna be lit. You know what I mean? You might could get one good vacation a year, or maybe save up and get one really good one every 2 years. So I get you there. There wasn't a whole bunch of wiggle room, but I'm just like,
there was a little bit of wiggle room.
There's a little cushion. But I'm like, man, I could really dumb down my lifestyle for that freedom, right? And then my hedge against some of her concerns was like, well, it's like you're controlling all this real estate. If you really needed to go up here or go up on this one, you could, you know, adjust your rents and stuff like that. So we just tabled it for the moment. We just left it up in the air. I think I went for a drive or something. I don't know. Shire was working from home, so she really couldn't get into a real robust conversation. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just go. I forgot what I did that day, but anyway. So I'm driving home, I'm coming back from whatever I did, and I'm just thinking like, man, okay, that probably is not gonna work. But I had this other idea. So earlier in the week, so this is idea number 2. So we want you guys to tell us, did you Shire's idea of retiring right now, or my idea of kind of meeting somewhere in the middle.
Or the other plan is slow and steady.
Or the other plan is
Come
slow
on.
and steady teen.
Which is still good.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. What did you got? Because Marcus, he has something too. This is
So
what he had.
So I'm surfing the internet. I'm on Instagram, and I see this reels of this young lady talking about something called Coast Fire, right? And I'm laughing because as soon as I saw it, I sent it to Shira, and I sent her this meme, like what does that mean, right? Because it didn't make sense to me. But let me explain it. Coast Fire is when you, as of right now, or when you reach the point when you have enough money in the market to where you can let that sit and season and not add anymore and still hit your fire number at age 65. That's what the example this young lady used. Mm-hmm. So in her example, she said, I've contributed enough to the stock market to where I can stop right now, let that continue to grow on its own, and reach, I think her number was $1 million by 65. And that would have been her fire number. Mm-hmm. So there's this growing community of people that are saying, well, I'm at Coast Fire, where I can let it essentially coast, right? I can let my contributions coast until I need to withdraw.
Yeah.
And what I thought was weird, I mean, cool, you came up with this thing, but I thought the naming was weird. So I hit up our good friends, Rich Journey. I showed it to them because they've literally patented the fire movement, quite literally. And so I hit them up, and I was like, asked them what they thought, and they was like, okay, it's, I like to run it by them, like, what do you guys think about this? Whatever.
I hope they do a video on it.
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
They might. So you guys check out our Rich Journey because they just might. I'm curious to see their analysis.
Yeah. So we just kind of left it there, like, oh, that's interesting. So later on that week, I'm driving home. This is before Shire even came up with her dope idea to retire now. And so I'm driving home, and I'm like, okay, so with Shire's idea, she's not comfortable with the amount of cash flowing income that we can use from real estate. So I said, what if we stop contributing to the market and use this Coast Fire theory, but where their flaw is they're going to have to work till 65, we have another way that we invest, which is real estate. So what if we coast the contributions and let that coast fire and use those monies that we were currently using to contribute to, boost or flood money into the real estate, right? So
for a period of time
to where we can get that cash flow number higher than where it is now and where it was in Shira's strategy. So I started doing the numbers. So I said, well, first of all, let me see if we're at Coast Fire, because we might not be there yet, right?
Yeah.
So we put our numbers in. This is how much we got in the market now. What is that going to look like at age 59, 65? So we did both numbers. We were like, man, these some cool numbers. This looking pretty good.
Kinda.
Yeah, we looking,
looking really good.
We looking good. So I'm like, man, all right. Well, so if we took away our contributions to that strategy and put those contributions strictly to real estate, so we pause our stock market investing, let that quote unquote coast, and really just hit real estate hard, what could we get? And man,
I went to my well, he told me the idea, and of course I was looking at him crazy.
Shire don't never like my ideas, y'all. Like this,
I'm like,
she's
I'm
very
not gonna
skeptical.
Stop contributing to my retirement, But then Marcus is like, well, you are contributing to your retirement.
It's all retirement.
It's all
real
retirement.
estate, stock market.
So I went to my spreadsheet, and based on, say, we were buying houses around that $70,000-$75,000 range.
Similar to how we buy now.
Yeah. So with that strategy, we would be able to have enough income to stay where we are and meet all of our financial obligations in about 4 to 5 years.
Your boy says 3, but
3, really, Marcus?
4 to be safe, 4 to 5 to be safe.
He
so
always
pretty
anyway.
much we would be
4
able
to 5.
Yeah, we would be able to use our current strategy, that is to retire in 10 years. We've kind of talked about that. We would literally speed that up and hit those numbers at around 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a great idea.
And you wouldn't have to move.
We wouldn't have to move. We would have more cash flow monthly, with that strategy, because we will be able to buy more real estate than we would if we retired now. Right. And so more real estate equals more monthly income, which creates a better lifestyle.
It creates a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
It creates stability because
Yeah.
you're not packing up and moving. I think the cost of healthcare is going to be more expensive in California, but you're going to have your LLC and you're going to write it off, and at least you'll have that expense covered.
So, Shar, just to kind of paint the picture.
You're pausing your contributions.
Pausing your stock market contributions.
I'm just like, okay, is there a way you can do both? Can you contribute to your employer's match and then do real estate? Can you keep your Roth?
Y'all see my face.
Can you keep your Roth and still do it? So I think in theory it works, but I'm still working through some of the math as to what it would look like.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say I am married to a risk taker. I am a security seeker. Okay. I need security.
Yeah.
And he's a risk taker. But go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Yeah, because my thing is if we both together say we're going to do this, it will only happen quicker.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially, you found a angel investor to supplement your real estate strategy.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of paint the picture for them, Shire, I was losing my train of thought, but just to kind of, okay. Just to paint a picture for you guys, our stock market contributions currently, and since we've hit debt freedom, has been roughly about 30% of me and Shire's combined W-2 income. Mm-hmm. W-2 income. The real estate has been funded. It started out being funded by our home equity line of credit.
Yes.
Right. And now it's funded by itself. Right. The real estate kind of starts to pay for itself with an occasional infusion of hustle money.
Yeah.
Mark, I'm about to go third person on them. I do a lot of music on the side. I've shared recently that I've been blessed to have a opportunity since August of last year that has really been able to infuse more money into our real estate. So I've been using that, So that's been our strategies. W-2 covers stock market investing, hustle income, and real estate income funds more real estate. But with this strategy, we would be pausing that 30% contribution. So think of how much more real estate you can get if you take your 30% W-2 income and say, for a period of time, I'm going to aggressively attack real estate investing and create cash flow. I'm excited.
Marcus almost jumped out his seat.
Create cash flow. So you're hitting that number, because retirement is not a, and that's what me and Shire kind of go back and forth. It's not a time, it's a number anyway. Mm-hmm. So if I hit that number at year 10, or if I hit that number at year 2, it's all about the number. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, bump hitting it in 10 years. Let's do this, and we can hit it in 4 to 5 years, as Shire said.
As Shire said, he don't believe it.
I'm always trying to be aggressive. But.
Okay, so the thing is, what is best, right? Mm-hmm. Retire today, move across the country. Like,
what would y'all do?
Bump the 4 to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Bump the 10 years. Bump means like forget. I don't know.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Okay. Move across the country and just be done with it. Or do the 4 to 5 year. But obviously, if you're stopping your contributions, I honestly I have never considered even doing that. Like, that was never even something I would even think of doing.
Well, to put Shire's mind at ease and you, the listener's mind at ease, because I know you're thinking, man, the stock market opportunity and such and so forth.
They're good returns.
The returns is lit. I get that. Here's my retort.
I know what you're gonna say.
You still have that coast number.
Oh no, I didn't think you were gonna say that.
I'm gonna say probably both things you're thinking. Mm-hmm. You still got that coast. You still got money in the market growing and seasoning. And y'all, I ain't shy. I need to just go on. We just need to go on and tell them this coast number.
Train. We're literally on the coast.
This coast number, y'all, is lit. I ain't gonna tell y'all what the number is, but it's lit. I don't want everybody.
So
we transparent, but I can't be that transparent.
Yeah, but as you get older,
that money.
Say you're 59 and a half, then that is when you can start to withdraw without a penalty. So with your idea, you would be using real estate income, but then when you hit that 59 and a half, you can start to withdraw without penalties. So now you have your rental income and you have this other income. And it doesn't mean that you won't contribute to a retirement account, but again, because even when you retire, there's still cushion in the budget to still contribute, to like a Roth IRA, or if you want to open up another account. I need to say something.
This is chess, y'all. We playing chess, not checkers.
But
see, checkers is I'm going to just do this and I'm not moving from that and I'm going to do X. And chess is okay. Let's go back and see. This is war, man. This is economic war.
Okay,
right?
And listen, this is an idea. This is what literally has been brewing in the Murray household over the last couple of days.
Oh, days. I'm sorry.
Years. Over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even going to say like what we're going to do. And there's still things that we need to work out. And I have to say in this episode that we are not financial advisors.
We're not financial advisors.
We are not advising you to do anything that we just said because
actually would advise against it.
I actually would advise against it. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually would. I don't want anyone to say this is what they're doing, so I'm going to do it because I don't know the result. I don't know. I can't even say definitively what the plan will look going forward. Right. But what I will say is that I think that it probably won't be the 10-year plan, but I think that we're going to find a compromise that will help to expedite that plan just because our thinking and the way that we're approaching it has changed. Yeah. And so my biggest takeaway from this is, like I've said before, do the very best you can with whatever it is you have. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we think we're doing our very best, and you might very well be. But it's just like, okay, am I missing something? Mm-hmm. What am I not seeing that maybe perhaps someone else would see? Yeah. What season am I really in? And when you start to ask yourself those questions, it is not to necessarily second guess yourself, but it's if I'm missing something, I want to know what it is. Right. And so I started to have those thoughts. Am I missing something? I'm struggling a little bit more with money than I would want to. Like, some folks say it comes easy. Can it come easy to me?
Right,
can I have my big aha moment? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it really took me looking differently at our financial situation. And then when I start looking differently at the financial situation, the markets start looking differently at the financial situation. And now we have these two ideas like, wow, like I could retire tomorrow. Man, I could retire in, 5 years, or I could retire in 10 years, which is better than 20 or 30 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, okay, do I need to reframe the way that I'm looking at my retirement? Is there something I'm missing? Is there something that I could be doing that I'm not doing? And we have those conversations. And I think it's important for our listeners to also have that conversation, because there could be things in your life, you know, that maybe you just need minor adjustments, right? To have a bigger outcome.
Yeah, Shire. I think that's, very well said, and I have to, reiterate what you were saying. We're not financial advisors. I really don't
listen to us. Yeah. Don't do anything that we've said. Whatever we end up doing, like, we're gonna let y'all know, like, for real. Like, we gonna come back, but it's just like we've been brewing on this, and it's just like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I really don't want to end up on a pocket watching with JT.
Like, right.
Shout out to you.
They're telling you guys bad advice. You shouldn't do that. What if one of your houses fall into the ocean and now you got to go back to work? And like, I don't claim to know these things, but it's just.
I love that, Shire, because really what I envision for this podcast is that you just turn us on, man. We just two black folks having a good conversation. We're not spewing a lot of profanity. It's clean. You can play this on with your kids when you ride in the grocery store. But we're having I don't even want to say high level conversations, but we're having having more enlightened conversations than we have on a regular basis. I mean, when me and Shire aren't doing this, unless we're talking about a strategy and flipping and stuff, we talking about current events and sports and everything and tea like everybody else. But you do have to have your moments when, hey man, let's put something like this in the atmosphere. So that's what we're doing more so than giving advice. We're not doing that. So I'm glad you said that, Shire.
A book I thought of, Unshakeable. I mean, that's by Tony Robbins. I don't know if we still mad at him because I think he kind of had something going on a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did something. So they always.
I don't know. But that book was talking about how to be unshakable. So, and that's really being financially independent, having multiple streams of income, not just having income from one source, and really bringing balance to your retirement strategy. And so that could be a good book too. Yeah,
absolutely. So, Shire, this was a robust episode. I don't know if it'll be 2 episodes. We probably could fit it in one, man. We got a lot of meat on the bone, so we hope you enjoyed this episode. Shire, do you have any final thoughts?
Said a mouthful. But thank you all for hanging out with us and being with us as we talk through things and as we, navigate life. And we look forward to, the next one.
Yeah, and let us know which idea you thought was best. All right, till next time, this is Marcus, and I'm here with my lovely wife,
Shira.
And we're going to holler at you later. Peace.
Bye.